My mom tried to ground me for taking a job she didn't approve of. I'm 26, by user FaceExcellent8475. I, 26F, moved back home temporarily after a breakup. My plan was to save up, get my own place again, and move out within 6 months. I told my mom I'd be picking up shifts at a local tattoo studio doing desk work and appointment scheduling. She lost it. She said, "You're better than that. Only delinquents work there." I told her it's just an admin job, not like I'm tattooing gang members in her living room. She said if I insisted on working somewhere trashy, I'd have to follow her house rules. By house rules, she meant no coming home after 9 p.m. No bringing tattoo people into the house. She gets to approve what I wear to work. When I told her she couldn't ground me because I'm not 16, she said, "As long as you live under my roof, you'll live by my rules." So I did exactly that. I found a studio apartment the next week, signed a lease, and started moving my things out quietly while she was at work. When she came home and saw my room half empty, she called me ungrateful and said, "You think you're grown, hey?" Yes, Mom. That's literally the point. My neighbor tried to get me to babysit her 13-year-old because I work from home, by user OK_classroom_1192. I, 30M, work remotely as a data analyst. My office setup faces the street. My neighbor, who has a 13-year-old daughter, saw me one day and asked what I do. I told her I work full-time from home. Next week, she comes over asking if her daughter can hang at my place after school for a few hours because she doesn't trust her home alone yet. I told her, "Sorry, no. I'm working." She said, "But you're home. You can just keep an eye on her. She's quiet." I said, "Ma'am, I'm on the clock. I'm not a babysitter." She got offended and said, "You must not like kids." I told her it's not about liking kids, it's about not getting fired. 2 days later, I get an email from my building's HOA. Apparently, she complained that I'm unneighborly and refused to support the community. The HOA president literally laughed on the phone and said, "Yeah, she's filed 3 complaints this month. One about her mailman whistling. Now I just keep my blinds closed." I took down entitled Mom trying to invade my niece's birthday party, by user OKRecord2903. So my BIL thinks my actions make him and his wife look bad as parents. So my niece, Macy, turned 7 this weekend. We flew up for her party, and for our family to see our little one. My niece invited everyone she wanted to invite, but her bully, or shall I say her bully's mom, bum-rushed her way into an invite. BC my sil is merely mouthed and didn't want to upset them. So I was "So you're gonna upset your daughter instead? How is that okay? It's Macy's party." She was like, "Kids will be kids, everything will be fine." I reminded her of her 16th birthday when her bully showed up to her party and how she never, to this day, forgot it. I said, "Let me do it, I will be the bad guy." So this little girl and her mom show up and me and my Mill go to the door and I start, "Hi, I know you spoke to Sil, but you Macy doesn't want you here, so you're not invited. Please leave, feel free to take your gift with you." Her mother goes, "Well, you're not the mother." "No, I'm the crazy aunt who wishes to God I was the crazy big sister of Macy so I could really shut this spawn if Satan down, but you will have to do. Your daughter has bullied my niece since the first day of school, making her days pure hell, so no, you're not going to make her birthday hell also." Entitled Mom says, "Well, this isn't your home." So my Mill spoke up and said, "But it is mine and my granddaughter does not want you here. I understand that you bullied your way into this invite by speaking to my dill, but I will not allow either of you access to her day. Please leave." I jumped in and told her, "Your daughter spat in my niece's face and your response was kids will be kids, so clearly actual child rearing is not big on your list of to-dos in your household, which is why your child is not welcome here." She left and sent a barrage of texts to my sil, so I told her to give me her phone. I answered each and every one of them, letting her know exactly who she was talking to. And told her I can stay up here if I have to if you would like to talk face to face. So my BIL is going on and on. BC they are getting a barrage of texts from entitled Mom and I told him either block her or give me your phone and I will answer the texts. I know I probably overstepped not being the actual parent, but I didn't want Macy's day to be messed up. Update: I'm so sorry for not getting back to this post. I had to rush my daughter to the emergency room. She had an ear infection. I'm a FTM, so I didn't know what was wrong. But anyhow, for the person asking if there was a slow clap, no, there was no one in the driveway but myself, my Mill, the entitled parent, and her little spawn if Satan. What happened with the texting? I stayed and went to school and picked her up with her mom, Karen tried to out myself and myself to the other moms, but no one took her side, and a couple of moms told her she needed to get a better handle on her daughter and they didn't want their daughters around her either. While we were standing in line for my niece to come out, Karen whispered under her breath, "You're fucking bitch." I screamed, "You don't have to whisper, and it's MS fucking bitch to you. Put some respect on my name." My sill turned beet red and I got some looks for cussing out loud, but the kids were still in class, so. My sister-in-law, Sil, came around and we are fine. She did say she was glad that I was there, BC she would not have been able to do it, and I had a whole convo w my bil. He says he was backing my Sil up, BC she didn't want to make waves, and I told him when it comes down to his wife's feelings and his daughter's physical safety and mental health, his daughter need to be the winner every damn time. He agreed. So I'm back home now and nursing my infant through an ear infection. Thank you for having my back, guys. Entitled Parents insult bride and get thrown out by groom, by user different average 37. This story is not about myself and instead about my childhood best friend Nate. Nate himself is quite possibly the kindest man I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and I've only once seen him in anything but total calm or unending kindness. That one time was a week ago at his wedding. In stark contrast to Nate, his parents are real pieces of work, always putting down his achievements, berating him for the smallest of things and generally being tools. Nate met his now wife 6 years ago while we were out climbing. They were on a route super close by and both our groups wound up stopping to eat at the same time, so we all sat together and talked. They're a great couple and are both amazing people, but his parents didn't show the same appreciation. Nate's parents are very strict and freaked out when they met her after 6 months of dating because she had a tattoo, a singular tattoo, on her wrist, of her dead grandma's name. This singular fact basically made her enemy number one with them, convinced she was gonna corrupt their son into a tattoo demon from the depths of hell with tattoo gun things, anything about tattooing, forearms and ink for blood. Nate cut contact with his folks after 2 years of them dating when they continued to act cold to what was then his girlfriend. Apparently his uncle thought that his parents deserved to be at his wedding because their family or something or other no one cared about, and both invited and helped sneak them into the wedding towards the back row. During the "speak now or forever hold your peace" bit, his parents both stood up and started going off on his wife, calling her a slew of awful things and telling him to call it off. I and the groomsmen were going over when Nate rushes in front of us and grabs both his parents by the collars and began hauling them backwards towards the door before telling them that if he ever sees them again he won't be as gentle, and threw them out onto the street where they landed on their ass. The rest of the wedding went great aside from myself getting the uncle out after he brought up that my buddy should forgive his parents, and they're both very happy. Pretty tame climax. I know it sounded more wild to me before I typed this out, cause I have genuinely never seen my buddy even raise his voice before, let alone grab someone and manhandle them, but I still think it's a wild story and I'm thrilled my buddy's folks got humiliated in front of all those people. Wife is fine, by the way. She knew full well how nuts they were and my buddy wouldn't let her think badly of herself no matter who says it. Laughing face. Aunt showed up at my house with her kids saying they would stay for a few days without even asking, by user nice_mine3644. Last month my aunt called saying she was in town for a wedding. I said, "Oh nice, enjoy the trip." The next day she showed up at my door with her 2 kids and 4 suitcases. She smiled and said, "We will stay here for a few days, it will be fun." I was so shocked I just stood there. She walked right in like it was her own house. I finally told her I was busy with work and had no space. She looked offended and said, "Family should always open their doors." Apparently my home is now a hotel that accepts bookings without notice.